Well, I am hoping that I'm live. And the only real way I'm going to find out at is to go and have a look at myself on another screen, which I'm doing now. Let's have a look and see if I'm live, shall we? Your channel, go live. Cool, blimey. Who's that good looking fella there? Here we go. It is now 1 minute to 8. And you're not all chomping at the bit, I see. Oh, pie chart. There you go, son. Ricky the Brookie. Who's Ricky the Brookie? Richie the Brookie. Stu Rowe. Joe McGough. Yorkshire Militia. That's what I like to see. Daz. I take it you're all hearing, mate. English Patriots. And we're going to go on from there. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, and then we'll go on from that side. Jeff, good evening, DD. Good evening, everyone. Let's see what it says. Get it out there. Don't forget, people, it is really helpful when you, wrong side this is, share, like and share, subscribe, and hit the button on the right hand side. Let me just take that back down there and go over there. And we'll go where I am. And don't forget to hit the like button. Hornsby, good evening. Gooner Mum Yoo-hoo. Tracy Turner, hello everyone. Tracy Turner, how you doing? I ain't seen you for a while. Paul Dunlop, sorry to hear about John Hurst. Well, again, I know it's just a couple of minutes in, but it is bad news. John Hurst, sadly, has passed away. From what I've been told and from what I've read, he had a stroke, or a massive stroke, yesterday, and I believe he died last night. So, I mean, the news is filtered out this morning that he's passed away. And for anyone who didn't know who John was, John's been on this show. I'm also going to show a couple of things on there, so let me just show you this one. If you don't know who John is, John Hurst was the founding member of the Magna Carta Society, or one of. He was also the person who was responsible for getting Article 61 of the Magna Carta initiated against Her Majesty the Queen in 2002. With a group of other people, put the laws together, went to see a barrister, a QC, who said this law is just as much law now as it was in 1215, and they actually put it to the Queen, so it was the British that knocked it back. But let me just show you a quick clip. Hopefully I'll be able to see it on this screen. I won't put myself on the screen, I'm just going to show you a quick clip of John. And there he is. Hopefully you'll hear the sound on this. This is from UK Column, and this was about the English right to keep and bear arms, not the British. He come round to our way of thinking in the end. And what I liked about John is he listened, but he was also a great educator.
And it goes away. You notice I'm wearing a poppy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and create a vision of a new society formed on the basis of lawful self-defence. It's something we had within living memory, and it's been taken away from us, and it's been done by stealth. And the object of the exercise is to tell you what happens to the right to bear arms, how it can be recovered. And the reason for doing that is the only constraint on government is trial by battle, trial by combat. And that's reflected in the textbooks. I'll be quoting a textbook by an expert on the Constitution by the name of Professor Dicey, and he said in certain circumstances it would be right to rise up.
So again, I mean, what I'm going to do there is go back to my previous screen and go back on there. So again, hopefully you're all fully aware of, let's have a quick look, make sure I'm up there and working, of who John was. Basically, he's been instrumental really in the last 30 years, getting the Magna Carta back on to people thinking about the Magna Carta. And if you go back to Lord Coke and you go back to the 1500s and early 1600s when Coke was around, what he did, the Magna Carta hadn't been used for 200 years. And it was Edward Coke that brought it back in to the frame because there started to be tyranny. And he realised what was happening and he went back and brought that law forward and said, this is the Magna Carta and it's still law. And to a large extent, in a lot of ways, John did the same thing. So, again, I was absolutely shocked this morning to hear that he'd passed away. Again, you know, I've worked with him recently. He's been on the show. I've actually put a link there to some of the stuff he put on the website. And he was working on a couple of cases down here as well. So at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that everyone knows he was one of the good guys. He also was an ex-police officer. He was also, I believe, a firearms officer and training officer. He had his own firearms as well. He loved firearms. And even though he was an ex-police officer, he was old school. He was proper old school. And me and him got on really well. Even though, if you like, we was on opposite sides of the fence. But he said we both knew where to draw the line, basically. And I said, yeah, no, mate, you're right. So he was one of the good guys. And certainly it is really sad that someone of that stature in the Patriot movement has passed on. So condolences to his family, best wishes to his family. And again, you know, a real proper geezer, as I would describe him. So that really is what I wanted to say in reference to that. And again, show my respects and courtesy of this channel to his family and to him himself. Like I say, great guy. And a sad loss to the Patriot community. And a sad loss to those who really do believe in freedom. So the next element to this I want to briefly say to you, and then I'm going to go on to another question I've been asked today. Michael Gove, it seems, is responsible, or the man directly responsible for the arrests and prosecutions of our service personnel in Northern Ireland. And it has been reported back to me that there are hundreds of cases now coming to fruition, not just a handful. And people thought that a couple of paras had got off and, you know, that's it, we've won. You ain't won, boys and girls. There are many, and I'm going to emphasise this, many special forces, and I'm talking about SAS, SBS, and I'm also talking about the Special Forces Support Group, which is generally the paras, right? They are also being prosecuted, and like I said, there's hundreds of them. There are 50 paras currently in the pipeline being prosecuted for Northern Ireland alleged offences, right? And let me tell you something, it's Michael Gove, it's the British government, it's the Tories doing that, and it was initiated by the Labour Party, carried on by the Tories, and applauded by the Lib Dems. And if there's anyone out there in any doubt whatsoever that the British are the enemy, and will persecute their own soldiers. And let me tell you something, people. Many of them soldiers are English, not British. Generally they come from English regiments, now been disbanded. And if you can't see the writing on the wall right in front of your face, God help you. Let me tell you something now, and I do want to emphasise this quickly to everyone. It is very important that you all understand how crucial it is, if you know any of these guys, if they are contacted by the MOD or otherwise, they are to remain silent. The only details they need to give anyone is their name, their rank, and their army number. That's it. And literally they are to treat whoever it is that's calling them as enemy combatants, in terms of they are being interrogated with a view to prosecution, and anything that they say will be used in evidence against them, right? You must understand that. Yeah, anything you say may and will be used against you. It is very, very. It's not. They're not there to ask you a little statement, yeah, and try and help you out. All right, bruv. Yeah, we'll help you out there. Like I said, even if they say to you, "Do you want a cup of tea?" It's no comment. The next quick element, and I'm going to spend a couple of seconds on this as well because it is important. Blimey, what was that? Someone else has asked me some questions today. So what I'm going to do is put this out there, and I may see if I can get someone here coming on the show from India to explain some stuff to you. Let me get back onto this one. And I'm going to put this out there because someone asked me a few questions. You can go and research this yourself. Let me put this on there. Don't forget to share this and get it out there. And I believe also that 10 o'clock tonight, President Trump, and it is President Trump, is going to be doing some other bits and pieces, and he's going to be doing a live interview. So what you're seeing on your screen, or you will see on your screen in about 2 minutes, if I can get this to come down a bit. Hold up. There it goes. You want to get it down to about there, or about there, and you're going to see this come up on your screen. I don't know what that means. Let's go and see if he's in there. Nope. So I have sent a Zoom link to our guest who's coming on, which is Stephen Todd at 8:15. And he will be coming in at 8:15. Now, what I'm briefly going to show you is this. Now, a lot of people have said to me, I thought you said India was all right. Let me tell you something. I don't know what's going on in India. All I do know is Uttar Pradesh started giving a whole population of 230 million people Ivermectin in August 2020. January the 19th, 2021, there wasn't a single death out of 230 million people of COVID, right? This article explains what the situation is, shows you what they've been using out there, shows the combination of drugs. It seems that they was told to stop using it. Whether that's the pharmaceutical companies telling them, or some superior powers telling them to stop using it, but they was told to stop using it, it looks like, and that is what's caused this problem. Right, so that information is out there. If you go and read that, it tells you, and let me just see if I can find one a bit. A year after the country's first COVID-19 cluster with 5 cases was reported in Agra district, the Uttar Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh government has claimed it was the first state to have introduced large-scale prophylactic and therapeutic use of ivermectin, and added that the drug helped the state to maintain a lower fertility and positivity rate as compared to other states. citing the results from AGRA in the month of May and June last year, following which the use of ivermectin, a medicine to treat parasitic ailments, along with doxycycline, was introduced as a protocol across the state for both prophylactic and as well as treatment for purposes. The state health department said it would conduct a controlled study once the second wave of pandemic subsides. Just to let you know, Uttar Pradesh was the first state in the country to introduce large-scale prophylactic and therapeutic use of ivermectin in May-June 2020. A team at AGRA, led by the Dr. Anshul Parikh, administered ivermectin to all RRT team members in the district on an experimental basis. Now that's in the whole area, right? It was observed that none of them developed COVID-19 despite being in daily contact with patients who had tested positive for the virus. Uttar Pradesh State Surveillance Officer Vikasindhu Agarwal said, right, and then it goes into further detail. I've put the link in there. If you want to go and have a look at that, please do. And I will be doing more on this because I find this fascinating. Who's told them to stop using it? Who's told them to stop using it? Or is it a massive propaganda machine? Does it play here? It could be anything is the answer. So let me just go back to my main screen. What I'm going to do now is clear that one. Go back to that one, clear that one, go back to that one. Let's do a clearance of everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's clear that, put that in there. And now I'm going to introduce the next person on the show. A guest that is a fantastic guy. He's run a gym in Preston for 34 years. He has stood up against the state, but he's very interesting, right? Not that gym owners are generally not interesting. I'd like to be a gym owner. Man, imagine all them fit women coming in, or even unfit women, and you watch them get fit. You know what I mean? No wonder he runs a gym. Let's just have a look, and we'll get him to come in. Hopefully this is not going to echo. Right, so don't forget, if you've got this in the background, Steve, you have to turn the sound right down and off. Not for me and you talking, but the actual show, because otherwise you get feedback. It should be all right though. Let me see if I can change this view. Speaker view, gallery view. There's speaker view. How you doing, son?
How's that?
All right, let me just do a check with the audience, right? So if you do a sound check for us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And can everyone hear Steve and hear me without any echo? And I'm hoping they come back and say there's no echo. If they say there's an echo, I'm going to headbutt the screen and do some back butter flips. Can't hear Stephen. All right. Too low, 5B5. Some are 5B5 and some are saying you're too low. Let me just see if I can turn you up in any way. The only way I can turn you up would mean, actually, what I don't want to do is cause an echo with that. So the only other thing I can do is see if I can pull that there. Hang on a minute, and let's see if this, because I want to make sure we get this right. I'll turn the sound right up. If you give us another bit of feedback there.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think that was loud enough, son. Right, hang on. I'll bet they come back and say, yeah, I heard that all right. Hang on a minute. Right, I've just turned the sound right up, and my hearing aids is out, and it's blasting me, so it must be blasting them. Let's just see what they say to that. 5B5, that's much better. The 5B5s are coming through. Right, Steve.
How we doing, Mr. Moore?
How you doing, my friend? Right, so this is one of the things I was going to say to you. Let me just, at the minute, I'm going to change the view again, just so they can see both of us on the screen. Let me do both of us on the screen. That should do it side by side, but it don't want to do it side by side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are, where your gym is, what and why you took an interest in gymnasiums, etc., and then we'll get into a couple of the subjects that people are really interested in.
No problem. My name's Stephen Todd. I live in Preston, where my gym is. I've had my business for 34 years now. Started work at an engineering firm, nuclear fuels. Always had an interest in the fitness industry, so I decided that was it. Took redundancy from work and set my business up. That was 34 years ago, and never looked back until 12 months ago when the government decided they were going to start doing lockdowns. What got me interested in common constitutional law was the fact I tried to do a seminar at my gym, and I was told, don't do it by the police. If you do it, we will come round to your house and we will hold you fully responsible. I thought, stuff you, I'm having it. So we had a seminar at the gym. There was 35 police officers. There was 12 vans. There was 2 dogs, and there was drones flying over above our heads. This showed me how scared the government was of common law. They don't want us knowing our common constitutional rights, and they were scared to death. So that got me very interested in common constitutional law. So I decided to start studying it and learning more and more about it. And that was it. Then, like I said, the lockdowns came and I decided, that's it. I'm going to fight my corner. I'm not giving in. My rights are my rights, and I'm going to fight for them no matter what.
And you certainly have.
So I did.
Right, so the next, just a quick one. Are you, so the seminar that you held, was that before or during the lockdown period?
It was before lockdown,
right?
But we was only allowed so many people, or small groups, if you will.
All right, okay. So they was just getting. They definitely didn't like the fact that you was talking to people and expressing what the Constitution was, what the common law was, and again expressing to people. That it is England that give us them rights, and the way I look at it now is the British police are a British paramilitary force against the English. Whether people like it or not, they're not the old school coppers that they used to be. They're a different breed of people, and they have also been psychometric tested to have a certain type of view of us and people.
Like I said, end of the day, I tried to get into the gym. There was about 70 people there who was interested in coming on the seminar. And like I said, with 35 police officers blocking the gates, would not let me into my gym. Right. Dogs, drones, what the heck? I thought. It was like a bomb had gone off.
Yeah.
I've never seen as many police in my life. And drones as well flying over above. It was unbelievable. So we had the seminar outside on the grass, outside the gym, because he won't let us into the premises. And
again, this is about common law. This is not teaching people with respect about bombs or bomb making or any of them things that you would expect a massive police present and they'll do something nasty. You're not inciting violence. You're basically talking about the Constitution of England, constitutional laws, common law, and your rights, and they turned up with that type of presence.
Yeah,
right.
So that just showed me how scared they are of us learning our rights. Because if we know our own rights, that it brings an end to them, and they're scared to death. But it was interesting. some of the police officers at the end of it, who was there, get back, shouting, all the rest of it, they come up to a few of us at the end, stuck their hands out and said, listen, we're behind you as well. It just shows not all of the police are bad. There is some out there who are being changed.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I do agree that there are some good ones out there. I'm not suggesting they're all bad. The problem is that when the state controls their pension and can switch it off, literally by a minister saying stop paying him his pension, cancel his pension, and by the way, that's for the military as well. Even if you're a veteran and you've left the military, they can stop your pension tomorrow. People don't realise that, and I've looked right into it, and it is within ministerial power. I believe it's only happened once, and it was taken to court, and I think the guy got his pension reinstated. But the point is, they will use that as a weapon against them. So, again, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lead into this. So, obviously, we met a number of my subscribers. Watched the video you made where you was being harassed, arrested, and all sorts of things in your gym, which is, by the way, the oldest running gym in Preston. And you got arrested, and they asked me, can you help him? So you're obviously quite well liked, because all these people kept firing emails at me, can you get in touch with him? And then I went through a process of researching, etc., and got in contact with you. But after that side of it, the fascinating thing is we actually spent some time together going through the case the day before a hearing. And then you started talking to me about healthy, and let me just show this before, I'm going to have to show my screen view again, right? Not even sure if I'm coming up on the screen or someone else is here, but let me just go to gallery view. So I'm going to go to gallery view again and show this concoction that I've got in front of me, right? And again, you sent me some stuff. I told you about my cousin that had cancer, stage 4 cancer. And then you started talking to me about B17. So what I want to try and do tonight, quite a few people have asked me, there's people out there with cancer. We're not, well, let me put it this way. Let me just emphasise this. As far as I know, it works. I can't say it works for everyone. I don't know the detail of it, but I'm sure you're about to explain it to us. But there's certain references and molecules, etc. But if you want to explain to people what that is and what happened and what it is that you know about it.
Right. Cancer, at the end of the day, was found in the 1930s, and it was a guy called Otto Warburg. And Otto Warburg found if you put normal healthy cells in a bell chamber and slowly pumped out the oxygen, all the cells in the bell chamber went cancerous. So straight away, he found out what caused cancer. For that, he got the Nobel Prize. Since then, they've never brought up that information again. This guy was a clever guy. He was one of Einstein's best friends. So he was a clever guy. So he worked out that what happens is a cell wants to stay alive, but if you reduce the oxygen content that it has, it will morph into a cancerous cell and start fermenting sugars to get the energy it needs rather than using oxygen. So that is what causes cancer. But it is not the death sentence that we're all told it is. All you've got to do is really get your body oxygenated again, and your body then will revert back to normal. So like I said, you're having that healthy drink there, the one you really enjoy, I can tell every time you have it.
Yeah.
And it's putting all the healthy nutrients back in your body that it needs.
Right.
But one of the things is, with cancer, you can kill it off naturally. What it is, one of the things you're putting in the drink is called apricot kernels.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's the small little seeds of the apricot. Now, if you Google it, they'll say, oh, cyanide poisoning and all the rest of it. Don't have them, they'll kill you, bad for you. No, it doesn't. what it actually does is it does contain cyanide and it does contain benzaldehyde, another highly toxic poisonous food. But like I stated before, once your body goes, so it's, if you have an unhealthy diet, your body then goes more and more acidic. As it goes more and more acidic, it cannot absorb oxygen. So what you've got to do is you've got to get your body back to normal. So you're having that healthy drink, which is basically putting alkalinity back in your body to revert it back to normal, so cancer cells can't live there. They can only live in an acid environment.
Yeah.
So, like I said, what happens to the cancer cells? They want to live. So, if they can't get the oxygen they need, what they'll do is they take in sugar. They take the sugar into the cell, they ferment it, and that is their energy source. So, basically, if you looked at a cancer cell, what it would look like is each one of them little lines is an insulin receptor on the cell. And what that is doing is all them little insulin receptors are taking sugar into the cancer cell to give it its fuel. Doctors know this because if you go to the doctor and say, I think I might have cancer, I've got pain here, he'll do a test. And what he does, he gives you radioactive iodine mixed with glucose and you drink it. Then the cancer goes, brilliant, food's arrived, lads. It takes all the glucose inside, but it also takes inside the radioactive iodine. Once they do that, they do a PET scan on you and they can see the radioactive iodine inside the cancer cell and they can tell that the cancer has taken that inside and it's there and the size of it. So if a doctor knows sugar feeds cancer, the first thing a doctor should say to you is, don't eat any sugar whatsoever. You're feeding the cancer. But there is, like I said, things you can put in place to start to kill it off. One of the things, like we said, was the B17, the apricot kernels. Right, I'll go back again to the cyanide. What it does, I'll give you a little diagram again. Just draw it 2 seconds. Right, what it does is, if you imagine, that is B17. So B17, right, you look on the top there, you've got 2 glucose molecules, make up B17. They are the fuel source of cancer. You've also got cyanide, highly toxic poisonous substance, and you've also got benzaldehyde, another highly toxic poisonous substance. But they're all joined together in a chain. And if you imagine, that's a little lock there, and there's nothing on the planet that will unlock that chain. So when people say cyanide is dangerous, yeah, it is dangerous. But when they're all locked together, they can't do any damage. It's like if we had H2O. If I got your head, stuck it underwater, you should be able to breathe because the oxygen there. But you can't breathe. Why? Because the oxygen is bound to the hydrogen. And it's exactly the same with the cyanide in this. It is totally unavailable to the human body and it's useless. But there's only one thing that will unlock that chain. And it's an enzyme called beta-glucosidase. The only place you'll find beta-glucosidase in the human body is inside a cancer cell. So what happens is, your body eats that, your body takes the glucose inside, the cancer cell takes that inside because it's its fuel source, but it also takes inside the cyanide and the benzaldehyde. Once it goes inside the cancer cell, the beta-glucosidase unlocks a chain and the cyanide and the benzaldehyde kill off the cancer cell. It's your body's own way of regulating how to get rid of cancer. You get cancer, you eat bitter foods with B17 in, and they kill the cancer cell off. How do I know this? Right, let's see. Well, at the moment, they're banned in the UK. You won't get jail time in the UK because we still have the National Health Service. But if you sell apricot kernels in Australia or the USA, where it's private health, you will get a warning. If you carry on doing it, you will get a jail sentence.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to Google it, there was an arm wrestler in America called Jason Vale, and he got, I think it was stage 3 cancer. He started taking apricot kernels and he cured himself. So he set a website up selling apricot kernels. The FDA got in touch and said, stop selling them. They went, buggy, I'm carrying on selling them. Carried on selling them. Nope, got in touch again. So in the end, he got sentenced to 5 years in jail for selling apricot kernels. The seed of the common fruit, he got sent down for. Now, that's wrong. How can this... It says in the Bible, eat the seeds of the common fruit. Yeah. Why does it say that? Because you're meant to eat them. They're good for you. If they're poisonous, why, when you throw an apple at a cockatiel or a parrot, will it munch away all the flesh, get that to one side and eat the seeds?
Yeah.
They do that for a reason. They know all the goodness is in the seeds. That's why he eats it. So that is why you should always eat apricot kernels. They cannot poison you. Right. Basically, they will go inside the cancer cell. Any that's not took inside the cancer cell will be washed away, chained together, like we said, in that link, and will cause you no problems whatsoever. I've had about 20 a day for the last 20 years. Still going strong, no problem at all.
Well, let me just say this to you. I also know of someone else. Let me just put it onto because I don't think this is changing screen view, but it should be, and it's not, right? So let me just say this to you. I know someone, again, from up north. His name's John. I think it was 14 years ago. He lost his wife. Less than a month after he lost his wife, he was diagnosed with cancer. His daughter is a nurse, and now a senior nurse. And when I went round to see him, I was coming back. Funny enough, from you was talking about apricot kernels, because we was talking about my cousin who had stage 4 cancer, right? We were having that conversation. Come back and I popped in to see him, right? He's got a lovely English flag flowing outside his house, which is, obviously, I do like to pull into them houses and have a cup of tea. So... And then I sat down and we started talking about healthy stuff. And all of a sudden, I mean, I can't remember how old John is, but let's just say he's in his 70s. They took away part of his lung and they give him one treatment of chemo. This was like 14 years ago. He went back into the hospital and he was supposed to have another treatment of chemo, right? He looked at all the people with their hair falling out. And I won't use the exact words that he said, but he basically said, you ain't putting any more of that in me. I will do it my way, right? So this is the story of John. And bearing in mind, I didn't know this until after I come back from you, and there was a pot of apricot kernels sitting on his table, right? So we started having a discussion about it, and he said, well, I said, how did you find out? And he said, I went to see a mate of mine who repairs drills and sanders and all that. And he said at that time he was well into his 80s. So I went in there to get a sander repaired, just by chance, right? And he said, and the bloke said, oh, I ain't seen you for a while, how are you, etc. And he just said, my wife passed away and I've been diagnosed with cancer. And the fella said to him, yeah, I was diagnosed with cancer 20 years ago. Throat cancer. And then Sir John said to him, oh right, and he was sort of looking. He said, I can't see you've had any operations. He said, no. He said, I didn't. I just started eating apricot kernels and it completely cured it. So John then went away, started taking these apricot kernels. I'm not sure how many he was having on then, but it was something like 20 a day. You got to chew them. They are an acquired taste. If you like Guinness or anything like that, or you like marzipan, which I do like, you just chew them, which breaks them open, and then eat them. So he said he went to see his doctor, who just happened to be a Ukrainian doctor, and his cancer had completely disappeared, right? So the doctor said, what have you been doing? And he said, I've been eating apricot kernels. And the doctor didn't admonish him. He said, well, whatever you're doing is working, so keep doing it. So he did, right? But he also takes lots of other things as well. So the main thing is, and people have got to understand this, it may not work for everyone. And one of the reasons for that could be that you're having too much sugar. Or, and I'm just going to say this to you, right? One of the crucial elements, I do not trust doctors, the National Health Service anymore, right? It's finished with me entirely, right? It may have been at some stage a good thing. It ain't no good now. They're showing their colours of what they're doing. But one of the things that you expressed to me was it was to do with oxygen. And one of the worst things that you can do, and I'm really sorry to everyone out there, yeah, I do smoke, right, is smoke. Because when you smoke, your lungs are taking the, not just the nicotine, but the carbon dioxide, and they're replacing the oxygen that should be going around your body, and they're putting into your body carbon dioxide, right? That is a positive signal for cancer anywhere in your body. Is that correct?
That's true, yeah, definitely.
So it's one of the worst things you can do is smoke, and it's not just about, just to give everyone an indication, one of the worst types of cancer is what they call small cell cancer. Normally you get small cell lung cancer. It's got a 2% survival rate. That's it, right? It is aggressive, it's nasty, and they confirmed it is not caused by smoking. It's not caused by smoking, right? So this is the element where you're talking about apricot kernels and other healthy stuff. So again, for anyone out there that has got cancer, it's entirely up to you if you carry on with your chemo treatments and all that. I mean, what's your opinion? And we're asking you're not a medical professional, but you are someone.
Oh, right, okay. A girl who come to my gym, she had an 18 centimetre tumour in her breast. So I sorted her a diet out, apricot kernels, everything else that goes with it, and we got it down to 11 centimetres. So it virtually shrunk in half. Now, we went to see her oncologist, and she wanted me to go with her. So I went to see the oncologist, but I went prepared. And I went with a copy of Clinical Oncology, which is their medical journal. The one they get every month, they get a copy of it. So I walked into his office, and I went, what would you recommend then? And he went, well, personally, I'd recommend breast removal. He said, then chemotherapy. I went, okay. So I got this Clinical Oncology out. I said, right, this is your journal. I said, now, in this journal, it's got a report, a case study of 87,000 people in Australia and the USA. I said, so it's just not a small amount. It's a big 87,000, lot of people. I said, and all the ones who had chemotherapy. I said, now, we look down the list, all the different cancers. I said, now, breast cancer, I said, survival rate after 5 years, I said, it's 2.5%. I said, now, you're telling me as an oncologist, you would recommend a treatment where only 2.5% would be alive in 5 years' time. He went, well, I know what you're saying, but I went, there's no buts. I said, this is your journal. I said, this is your journal. I said, most people, about 3% survive chemo. So to put that into perspective, imagine if 100 of us were getting on a plane to go on holiday, and you knew at the other end, just 3 were going to get off. Would you get on that plane? Would you bloody hell get on that plane? You'd stay in England, whatever. You would not go abroad. But they line up for chemotherapy. Now, that is their statistics from their report. Utter suicide. So
and again, I'm not disagreeing with anything what you're saying. So again, what I'm highlighting to people is that you are a gym owner. You've been into health training for 34 years, probably before that when you was younger as well, right? And the fact is, you've had other people with asthma come into your gym, and you've said, you know, this is what you should be doing. Now, you give me a list of stuff that I should be taking, right? And there was an important question in there in the audience, and I'm gonna come back and say that in a minute. But you recommended that I get a NutriBullet, which I have got now. NutriBullet RX from eBay. Not cheap, but indestructible. Let me tell you something, he is definitely indestructible if it goes in my kitchen, right? And this concoction here is what, except I haven't got the blueberries, was a third of a cucumber, a stick of celery, a handful of spinach, a tiny bit of broccoli, and by the way, you can change the taste if you put too much or more of something else in, right? As I realised today. Small carrot, or half a large one, half a lemon with the skin on. I'm going to ask you the question about that in a minute. A full apple and a handful of blueberries. You need to put these in the blender with 1/2 to 3/4 of a pint of water and blend it. It takes 60 seconds, right? And you can adjust the water to see how thick you like it. You can have it like a big thick soup, like a smoothie, or you can have it as runny as you want. And again, I said to you, why'd you put the lemon in it? And you come out of why that was. Tell everyone why you put the lemon in it, apart from the fact that lemon's got vitamin C in it.
Vitamin C, it's an antioxidant. Lemon is that good. It's basically, if you've got an apple, you cut it in half. What happens is the apple goes brown within about a couple of minutes. The reason being is the oxygen molecules. Imagine, I'll try and draw it again. Let's see. All oxygen molecules, imagine, want to be like that. They want to be together.
Yeah.
Right. So what the problem is, once you've got a single oxygen molecule like that on its own,
yeah,
it's like a lad going out on a night out. It wants a partner. So what it will do, it will grab a molecule from the apple to make its partner up, and that will cause the apple to go brown. But what happens if you get a lemon, coat the apple, put it out, put it back in the fridge. The following day, it's not gone brown, because what it will do is it will take one of the molecules off the lemon and leave the apple intact.
Right.
That's why it's always good to use lemons.
Right. Okay. So in other words, it allows this concoction, and by the way, this was from this morning, to stay fresh.
Yeah.
And that is.
What was it?
No, well, it's still fresh.
Yeah.
Like I say, and this concoction as well has also got apricot kernels mixed into it, right? So you can add or taste it slightly. Now that in particular is to make me feel, after a week or so, you take it every day. You should have that every day anyway, and that makes your body alkaline.
That's it, yeah.
Right, so it starts, if there is anything, and by the way, everyone, as far as I know, I haven't got cancer. My cousin asks me, why do you keep taking all this anti-cancer stuff, blah, blah, blah? Have you got cancer? And I've said to her, no, darling, but I don't want it either. So it is a prophylactic, I believe they call it, where you can take this stuff and you won't get cancer because you're actually... Now, our diets have changed considerably, at least in the last 60 years, from the invention of fridges and freezers and processed food. During the war, and especially during the war, sugar was rationed, and a lot of people don't realise that sugar didn't actually come off of rationing until the 1970s, early 1970s. It was still rationed. In other words, you couldn't go and buy £2 of sugar. You couldn't buy kids' sweets like you can now, where there's loads of sweets everywhere. So sugar in itself was literally not really in a diet. And I just want to emphasise this. If you go to prison, they don't give you sugar in anything, right? The food is very bland. They make basic food. So meat and 2 veg, and that's it. There are no special sauces. They don't put sugar in the custard. They don't put sugar. You have to buy your own sugar, and basically the food. And what you'll see is that within a prison environment, within if you went in for 6 months, you'd come and you was a big fat lump. Within 6 months, you'd come out looking like a stick, right? Because your body is getting only what it needs. Technically, you'll be getting exercise, because if you're laying on your bed and you don't want to get exercise, your door will come open and a screw will say out, right? And you have to go out to exercise, and they'll use the old trick of, we need to get you out because we want to search your cell, right? Which gives you another bit of exercise because you have to tidy it all up once they've ransacked it. But we won't go into detail with that. But what I'm saying is that makes many people lose weight, right? So you get fitter because of your diet and a minimum amount of exercise every day, right? So again, talking about what you do, someone else has said something there, and I just want to go back to what the person said, if I can find it. Now, I do know this person, and I'm not going to acknowledge who the person is, but they... now, I'm going to ask you a question. This is a good question as well, right? So why did a god allow the cancer to infect a 7-year-old relation of mine, spine cancer? Right, so, and I understand how people feel about that, and I understand that people die, etc., and they lose faith, right? Or they've never had faith in God, whatever. I understand that, right? But I do agree. I always think to myself, my mum was lovely. She died of breast cancer. We nursed her at home, and if I had known that we could give her apricot kernels and she would have survived, you know, obviously the things would have been a lot different now. But so why is it that children are getting cancer? Why is it, you know, that people, you know, they think they're being healthy and they're getting cancer?
I would say with children, you look at most children's diets, they're not the healthiest out there. I don't know what that lady's child's diet's like, but I wouldn't have thought it would. Most of them don't tend to be healthy. They're on, like you just said, a lot of sweets. They're not eating the food we're meant to eat. End of the day, we have the same digestive system as a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
99.9% the same as a chimpanzee. How much sugar, bread, pasta, rice do chimpanzees eat? None. What do they eat? Fruit and veg. Do they get cancer? Virtually never. Now, we are the same. So, we are a chimpanzee's body without a human head on. So, why are we not eating like the chimpanzee does? It does eat a little bit of meat. I totally agree. You get the chimpanzees and they'll get a little baby monkey, pull it out, and they'll rip it to pieces and eat a bit of meat off it. But it's not a lot of it. They eat mostly fruit and veg.
Yeah.
They don't get cancer.
Right.
Put it this way, when you were saying about cancer then, people say, I'm not interested, it don't bother me. I'd seriously reconsider that one. 1 in 2 women get cancer. Sorry, 1 in 3 women get cancer. 1 in 2 men get cancer. From the government statistics, by the year 2030, 90% of men will get cancer. I would definitely 100% start learning how to keep yourself healthy and keep it at bay.
I absolutely, completely agree with you on that element. So again, there's many people that have asked questions, and I know there's lots of people that have asked again and again and again questions about cancer, and they're coming back to me now. I'm going to say something else. From research, for some reason, I don't know why, but I've seen the research, ivermectin is something that also acts against cancer. And it seems very strange to me that the government are trying to stop a World Health Organization drug that again won a Nobel Prize, is known as a wonder drug, is completely harmless. 4 billion doses have already gone out there, right? With very minor side effects, that's all. And yet they say that ivermectin has a benefit. They don't know what it is, but a benefit in killing cancer. Now, I've read the actual medical research on that, right? Now, considering if that is true, and you was to combine, let's say, ivermectin with apricot kernels as completely natural, bearing in mind that ivermectin was found in 1976 by a Japanese scientist in the earth in Japan. It was a bacteria, and a very similar bacteria to what's found with reishi mushrooms, right? Which again, reishi mushrooms are known to be an anti-cancer mushroom. It's natural, right? So when you think about that and you put them two things together, that could be a massive positive for anyone and everyone. But again, I'm just going to talk about some other bits and pieces. So on the cancer side of things, you personally know people that have taken apricot kernels and never been, and their cancer's gone or reduced or whatever. Well, so is...
There's a lot who come to the gym and he run about his mother. She had stage 4 lymphoma. Stage 3 lymphoma, which is like cancer of the lymphatic system.
Yeah.
She was in her late 60s. So he said, will you have a word with her? I went, yeah, no problem at all. So she came down to see me. I run through all the other protocols as well as the apricot kernels. She was going to have a chemotherapy, decided against it. I got a phone call off him 6 months later just to say, all clear, no cancer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does work.
Right. So, and again, I personally know people as well. John Harding, I didn't know. And by the way, there's a further story to that because he actually went... When after he went into the ward and he said, "That's it, I've had enough of that." His daughter is a nurse, and his daughter went back to the hospital. I won't say a name or the hospital or anything like that. But some years later, the nurses actually spoke to her and said, "Was it something to do with your father or something who come in here that time and said, 'That's it, I ain't having none of that'?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "We often talk about him because he's cancer ward." And they said to her, "How is he?" And he said, "He's fit as a fiddle." His cancer disappeared. And they was all like, wow. You know what I mean? And then obviously she explained what he was doing and what he was taking. But again, we had a discussion about something else. So I have got rid of all of my heart medications, my statins, all the stuff that they give me. But bearing in mind, a couple of years ago, I had a heart attack, right? And let me just tell everyone, it hurts, an heart attack, right? Let me tell you something, there is nothing more painful. If women tell you that giving birth is painful, an heart attack is even more painful, right? A bit like man's flu and heart attack, right? So the point is, I've got rid of all them, right? I feel fine, apart being a little bit paranoid after I heard the news about John Hurst dying. But, so again, I'm taking that every day, right? And I'm sure you're going to do me some other recipes so I can be as healthy as I can be. I already feel a lot better getting rid of all that stuff, right? The next stage for me is obviously to give up smoking. The problem I've got with giving up smoking is it gives me the raving hump and I end up walking around headbutting walls, doors and all sorts. And if the wrong person says the wrong thing, they might end up on the wrong end of that as well. So I have to, because it does give me the raving hump when I give up smoking, right? I'm normally all right after about a week. So that's the first. So I'm going to attempt mainly to give up smoking. Now, the other things I was going to talk about is the health issues. You spoke about magnesium. Do you want to explain to people the benefit of magnesium?
Yeah, right. The main mineral your heart needs is magnesium. Now, you were taking the tablets. There's different ways you can take it. There's two of the best ways are, it's a product, it's called Mag 365. And if you go onto any Amazon or whatever, it comes in a little green tub. And it's a powder. Mix it with a bit of water. It fizzes like mad. And you drink that last thing at night. If you relax all your muscles, you have a good night's sleep. So it's great for that. But if you have a lack of magnesium, you've more chance of having a heart attack.
Right.
And you also said you're on statins. Statins are the world's worst thing for hearts. The reason being is what a statin does, it stops your muscles being able to absorb an enzyme called coenzyme Q10. Now, your muscle needs coenzyme Q10. But if you start taking statins, it can't absorb it. So what actually happens then is your muscles start wasting away. That's why when you look at anybody on statins, you look at them, they're all right. Then about 2 months later, it looks like they've wasted away.
Yeah.
My dad would say, he said, I've been on them now. I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't stop. 3 months he'd been on them. He tried to run across the road. He said, my legs virtually collapsed from under me. He said, my body's wasting away. I said, get off them things. Got off them, that's it. Back to normal again.
Let me just say this to you, right? Not only do I've never heard anyone describe it like that, but I felt like my muscles were going. And I kept thinking, well, is it because I'm getting no exercise or whatever? And it was possibly the statins. Let me tell you something. I can now actually physically feel my muscles coming back. I mean, literally, you know, when you can actually feel that your muscle, or if you go to turn or something, you can feel a muscle pulling or grinding when if you're not doing something in a right way. Now, another thing that happened yesterday, and again, seeing as you're now my guru of health, right? That's what I use, basically. I'm not sure if everyone can see that, right? Plurorabs, magnesium citrate. And again, it says immunity, energy, bones, metabolism, right? So again, I'm losing weight. I haven't really changed my diet. All I'm doing is having these and these vitamin pills, and I'll show you everything that I'll do in a minute. Now, I started getting cramp in my calf, right? I mean, literally, like I couldn't walk, and I could feel the muscle massively cramping up, right? And then I spoke to you, and you said to me, you're not taking enough magnesium, and I think it was your partner said, it's a personal thing, so you need to find out how much your body needs, right? And then, so I told you I was taking this 150 milligram ones, and you said, take another one, take 2 a day. So I took 2, right, and the cramp has gone off, right? I can still feel it because it was proper hurting yesterday, right? But it definitely increasing that has helped me. So just to let you know that a couple of things that you've advised me on is already helping, and I prefer, like many people out there, if we can use natural methods of recovery and wellness, then we should do, because you're not putting all this SHIT that pharmaceuticals are synthesizing, making this stuff up and doing what they're doing. Now, one of the things that I will say to people is that Chinese, for 5,000 years, have had herbal medicine, have had all these various acupunctures, whatever. They know a lot about the human body and how it works, right? And it seems strange to me that one of the first, one of the more serious things that the European Union did was to start to ban herbal medicines and start to be very restrictive on herbal medicines. And they're still doing that to this day. So, I mean, for me, there's normally a reason they're doing that. They're not doing it, let me tell you something, they never do anything because it's for the benefit of your health. It's because if that benefits your health and it's cheap, it's free and it's natural, then the pharmaceuticals are not making money out of it, and therefore they're losing profits, and therefore they will regulate whatever increases. They, in fact, create a black market, their own black market that they have control of, and they do it via regulation.
Yeah. The thing is, it's all money. End of the day, your body will repair itself if you give it the right stuff.
Yeah.
But we always think we can override it. A doctor will treat the symptoms.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. It's imagine you're walking down a riverbank and you see someone in the water. So you grab them, you pull them out, get them onto the side, and then you, got away with that's brilliant. Next minute, there's 2 more people washing down the river. So you dive in, you drag them out, you pull them on, then that's it, you get them all out. The next minute, there's 3. So you pull all them out. That is how modern medicine works. Why not go upstream and find the bugger who's throwing the people into the water?
Yeah.
That is our problem. Your body will do everything it can to try and sort your problem out. It will, like I said, if you have a poison, it will basically, you'll shoot vomit out of your mouth and out of your backside to get rid of that poison.
Yeah.
Modern medicine, take Imodium, that'll stop it. No, your body's got a poison inside it. It's trying to get rid of it, and you're putting Imodium in to keep the poison inside.
Yeah.
And that is how modern medicine works. If you've got projectile vomiting from food poisoning, get some charcoal powder, mix it with a bit of water, drink it. It will grab the poison. It will take it out of your system. Yeah. No problem. Within about an hour, 2 hours, you're back to normal again.
Yeah.
It's all wrong. You get a headache. Give me a paracetamol or give me an aspirin. No. Try a pint of water. Because most headaches are caused by dehydration.
Exactly.
You drink 1 to 2 pints of water, it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't need the medicine.
Yeah.
Your body was trying to tell you there's a problem there. Listen to your body and do what it wants. So, but it's all gone wrong. We all try and treat the symptoms. The symptoms are your body trying to get itself back to normal. Like I said, it vomits out, shits out, if it's got a poison inside it. It gives you a headache to let you know to drink water. But we don't listen to that. We always want the quick, easy option. That's it. Go to the doctor. Right. He'll sort me out. No, sort it out yourself.
So how about naturally, so if I need to naturally lower my blood pressure or naturally use blood thinners, etc., what would you use it in one of these smoothies to do that?
Right, I'll give you a good example. Right, they said when the Vietnam War was on, when they brought the bodies back after they'd been in combat for a week or 2, and they brought them back in and they did autopsies on them, their arteries, these were 18-year-old lads, American guys, their arteries were virtually clogged up. Right, the bodies that were sent back after about a couple of years of being in the concentration camps, where they fed them just rice and vegetables, when they checked their arteries, they were clean as a whistle. So, eat more veg. Eat what you're meant to eat, which is basically, you got to remember, you're a chimpanzee with a human head on.
Yeah.
Eat more like the chimpanzee eats. Eat a lot more veg, a lot more fruit, especially veg is the most important one, and most of your problems will disappear. It's like a girl who worked for me. So we're going to the toilet once a week, once every 5 days to 7 days. I put that drink on that you're on.
Yeah.
She started going once to twice a day. That's just doing one drink.
Yeah.
It just, if you give your body what it needs, it will sort the problem out.
Yeah.
You've got to feed it properly. It's a self-repairing mechanism, and you feed it right, it'll repair itself.
Yeah. Right, so, again, to finish off on this, let me just say to people, if you're in the vicinity of Preston Gym, so what's the name of your gym called?
The name of the gym is
Reps Gym, there you go. So there it is. Reps Gym, and you're there most days as well. So anyone in the Preston area, or if you like what Steve says and you want to make your way to that gym and talk through a few things or whatever, or get advice on health and fitness, etc. Like I say, Steve's been involved with it for 34 years. He's obviously passionate about health, and it is the passion for health that helps people, because you have an interest, and someone just said cranberries are good for thinning blood. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Most fruit and veg will help out. Like I said, the way to look at it is, they say, is you've got your artery, And what actually happens is, once your body goes more and more acidic, if you eat, say, steak, fish, chicken,
Yeah.
and eggs,
Yeah.
what they do is they'll make your body more and more acidic.
Really?
Right. If you eat vegetables and fruit, you turn it more alkaline.
All right.
It takes 8 parts alkalinity to neutralize 1 part acid. So what actually happens is your blood goes more and more acidic. So what actually happens is your arteries, then what happens is they go more acidic. What happens is they start getting damage on the cells.
Yeah.
So what actually happens is your body starts putting plaque there.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
the damage, stop the acidity burning through. So what you've got to do is, like I said, if you start taking loads of veg, turn your body more alkaline, the body will get rid of the plaque.
Right. So when it gets rid of the plaque, now this is an important part, right? They had to do an emergency stent on me, which for some reason one of my veins inside my heart blocked. Right, and it started causing a problem. So they put an emergency stent, blew it up, etc., and opened up the vein inside my heart. Right. Lucky enough, they've done a number of tests, touch wood, and they've said your heart is not damaged at all. And it was probably because I was on a protest, walked up to a police officer and said to him, "Excuse me, officer," and he went, "Yeah." I said, "I think I'm having an heart attack," and he looked at me and he said, "You are. Sit down." And he got on the radio, and I had 2. Old Bill motorcyclists come flying over this thing, slammed their stands down, got all the gear out and put everything on me and everything. It took, I think, about 2 hours to stabilise me, and it was at Windsor Castle, and then they took me to hospital, and they actually had an emergency team waiting for me. So as the ambulance pulled in, I was still having the heart attack, and they put the thing in up through your wrist, up into your heart, and then put the stent in. So what I'm saying is, this is what I was told, but it was the plaque, a piece of plaque had broken off the vein and blocked the artery, and that's what causes the problem. And then once it does that, your heart starts going into spasm. And when it goes into spasm, that's when you're having the heart attack. And obviously it causes all the problems after that. And like I say, it is painful. Like, if you imagine, everyone out there has had cramp. Imagine having cramp. There's nothing you can do about it, but it's in your heart, right? That's what it feels like. So, just to let you know. So what you're saying is, if you alkalise your body, using this and different things, and you take that raw. So in this is all raw, all fresh, stuck it in there, minced it up, drink it every day. That starts to alkalise your system, and it will naturally declog your body.
Got it. That's it, 100%.
Thank you very much.
Book out, and the book is called How Not to Die, and it's wrote by a doctor. I can't remember his name, but if you go Amazon it, Google it, whatever, How Not to Die. And what it was his grandma, and I think she was 63-year-old. She'd had 3 heart attacks. She was told by the doctors, there's not a lot we can do. Go home, get your affairs in order. You've probably got about a month left to live.
Yeah.
She went home, got everything ready and everything like that. Then she heard about this guy with a diet. So she thought, I've got nothing to lose. So she went down to his clinic. She went in a wheelchair, and he put her on this diet. Basically, like I say, 2 ton of veg, juice, all the rest of it, everything like that. Within a month, she was walking a mile. Within about 3 months, I think she was walking about 5 miles. Now, the doctor said at 63, she was going to die within the next month. She died at the age of 95. So that is what you can do if you sort your diet out, get it right, and your body will heal itself. Like I said, they give her a month and she lived another, 20 odd years.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Unblocked all her arteries, everything like that, everything went back to normal.
Well done.
So it's a wonderful thing if you feed it right. It's like you've got a Ferrari.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Let me tell you something. I think the body is the most cleverest thing. I mean, literally, it's an ecosystem. Your gut in itself is an ecosystem on its own. It's like a planet within a planet within a planet. And people have to realise how clever not only your body is, but your brain in the computations it does, working out what's wrong, etc. And like I say, I think you're bang on the money with what you've said about the B17, the apricot kernels. Again, you got ivermectin. Again, there's another thing. So again, if anyone wants to contact me with reference to that, please do. Don't forget to go to Reps Gym. What I will do is I've had a few people ask me the question. I will create a page on my website with a link to Reps Gym. Have you got a website, by the way?
I have repsgympreston.co.uk.
Right. So I'll put a link to your website, and I'll also put a link to this so everyone knows what it is. And again, I know it sounds strange, but people, my ex-wife see all these tablets and thought to herself, what are you doing, right? And it's literally, these are all natural now. There is nothing unnatural about what I'm taking now. This is all natural stuff. On the other place, which I will advertise them, they have just been told off because I got an email from them by... who's the people that done John Notes? Was it John Notes or David Notes? There's a group. There's like a medical regulator that sits in this country. Well, they basically spoke to the people that make these very natural vitamins, etc., and told them they couldn't sell a certain thing because they class it as a medicine, and it's completely natural. It's completely natural, right? And they've come back and said they're having to go back now at this regulator. So again, people, just remember there are ways of doing it. Again, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to put all this stuff on my website. I'll put a link to your page up. And again, thank you for coming on the show. And I honestly find what you talk about fascinating. You've got a really good way of explaining it to people as well. Like straight, typical Northerner, just go bomb. That's what it is. No fanning around. This is how you do it, and that's what it is. Yeah. So I'm really grateful that you come on the show and explain that to people, and hopefully you'll come back again.
Yeah, love to. One thing, if anybody's going to buy apricot kernels, make sure you buy the bitter apricot kernels. There's apricot kernels that are not bitter, that they have had the B17 taken out of them. So you've got to get the bitter apricot kernels. You can still buy them off eBay, but they're not allowed to sell them as a food supplement.
Right, hang on a minute. Stay there, and I'll go and get my ones. Hang on. I'm hoping you can hear me.
Them are perfect. Yeah. As long as they're bitter, they're perfect.
Yeah, these are...
Sometimes on one of the sites, they sell them as an exfoliant because they can't sell them as a food supplement.
Yeah.
So what they do is, some people on eBay sell them as an exfoliant to crush up and rub on your skin. But they are still available, and they are absolutely brilliant.
Right, so this says on there, and this is manufactured in the UK, apricot kernels, bitter Himalayan. That's what it. So it tells you what they are. Creative Nature superfoods, and on the front it says face masks, body scrubs, and it says gluten, dairy, and wheat free. And then on the side, it tells you, blah, 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 and it says 150 milligram angling content are therefore not allowed to be sold as food anymore. Please be aware this product is not for human consumption. It is a cosmetic ingredient used to make natural face masks and exfoliating body scrubs. Right, so basically what they're doing is they're putting that on there. for legal reasons. Let me just put it that way. But that is and in case you've never seen them, they look. I don't know if you can see that. They look like peanuts, basically, but they are literally seeds. So, you know, you just little it. I mean, they taste like marzipan.
Yeah. If you don't like the taste, what you can do is put about 15 of them in your mouth and put a piece of dried fruit in at the same time, like an dried apricot, or a dried fig, and chew the whole lot together, and the bitter and the sweet neutralise themselves out, and the taste actually quite nice. Because some people throw them in and go, geez, they're bitter, I can't take that. But if you throw a piece of dried fruit in at the same time, brilliant. But you've got to chew them.
Yep. No, I'll just chewed that one. Right,
Well done.
Steve, thank you again. And don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution, and I know you believe that too.
100%.
So again, hopefully I'll be seeing you again soon, because I'll be up near that way very shortly. And obviously we've got some other things progressing through the thing. So I'm going to say thank you very much, and I am going to say tiddly-poo to everyone. So again, if you want to see Steve, don't forget the gym's in Preston. It's Reps Gym, easy to find. It's on an industrial estate, and Steve's there every day grafting like he normally does. That's it. Be lucky. I'm off.